So, who do you think you are? Do you know that song from Spice Girls, Who Do You Think You Are? This is one of the questions that you have to ask yourself when you want to build your reputation at work. Because it's important to know who you are and who you want to be seen as. So, knowing who you are and what is the reality is a work in progress as well. Hi, I'm Delia Fox and I help professionals succeed to their reputation. So, in the first episode of the podcast, I discussed about my career. And of course, I didn't go into details, I just said things that really marked my career. And then today, which is the second episode, I want to focus on you. I want to focus on who do you think you are, because I can think that I am my job title, but I'm so much more than that. So, knowing who you are is really important when you want to understand and define your career. Even before you start your career, when you're a child, people ask you, so what do you want to become when you grow up? And depending on the age, you change from the first thing would be copying your parents' jobs just because you love them and they are your heroes. And then you kind of try to see what skills you have, what your passions are, and you change your desire as you grow up. For instance, when I was a child, I wanted to be a teacher, you know. And then when I was studying, for a class, for a test, I would pretend that I was a teacher and I was actually teaching to a class. So this is what I did as a child. And then when I was in high school and they had this question, what do you want to do when you grow up? I focused more about how to make money and to be independent, because that was more important for me as a young adult. So then I wanted to be an engineer that can go abroad and have a good salary, which is why I decided to do that in college. Later on, I discovered that what I actually wanted to do was banking, which is what I did. So I swapped colleges as well. So in a way, I am a dropout. And why I'm saying this is because when you are a child, when you're little and you don't really understand exactly how the going to work is or what a career really is, it's okay to make changes, to change your direction and say, well, I want to do this, I just realized that it's not good for me. I encourage people to try out as many things and decide then. I encourage people to decide to do something and then change their minds. That's life, that's normal. You wouldn't know everything. And I had a conversation with my niece, really, when what do you want to do when you grow up? And I would look at her being, again, a young adult and being a little bit confused because you don't really know what you want to be when you grow up. So when you decide your career, sometimes in my case it chose me. Sometimes people do because that's what they wanted to be when they grew up. So we have the career story, which is interesting, of course. But also sometimes things happen and you just go along. You have opportunities that you can take or not. So that's sometimes how your career happens, and that's okay. Each of us are who we are today based on our decisions. And when it comes to who you are as a career, it's all good as long as you don't go with the flow and you stop and reflect and say, okay, I got here. Is this what I really want to do? I am here today. This is the person that I am. Is this who I want to be? So this is why the second episode, and it's really the most important question when you want to build your brand and you want to build your reputation at work, is to understand who do you think you are. So first of all, who do you think you are as your values? So you look at yourself and look, how do I make decisions? How do I describe good behavior and a bad behavior? How do I make decisions in my real life? Because that's really about your integrity, your values, your beliefs. And sometimes the beliefs that you have are fake in a way, because you took them for granted because they were told to you by your parents or authority figures. So if your mom says that money is evil, you grow up thinking that money is evil. And then when you're an adult and you do the exercises that we do, you ask yourself, is money evil, or it was just that my mom's impression of money? Is that my impression as well? So we have an exercise where you look at yourself and understand exactly what your values are, because you could realize that your values are not your values, are just words put in you by others. For instance, when you have parents saying my child is going to be a doctor, and then 20 years later you are a doctor. Is it your doctor because you wanted to be a doctor, or was that someone else's dream? So this is why having the values exercise that we do in our course is important, because you realize that, let me discover who I really am, because I may be better than I think I am. So who do you think you are is really going to that deep connection, self-connection, self-awareness, see who you are. So the first thing that you want to ask yourself when you want to discover who you are is who do I think I am? What are my values? How I make my decisions? So it's a lot of questions. It's a questionnaire where you really have to spend a little bit of time to understand who you are. So you say, well, this is who I am, and that's fine. And then you look around and say, okay, so let's see what others think that I am. So who do they think I am? Am I a good person? Am I a good manager, good colleague, bad manager, micromanager, and so on? So first of all, you need to understand who you are as who you think you are, and then you want to see what other people think that you are, because that's how your actions are interpreted by others, and that's how you understand how your brand is built, because it's more about your actions and their perceptions of you rather than the reality. So here, when others think something of you, you need to understand that even if you say one thing, people can understand the other. I'm going to give you an example. What if I told you that I go to the gym 5 times a week? If you like the gym and you like to work out as well, I would be something like, yes, what exercises do you do? Do you have a workout routine? What do you eat? Whatever. Everything that is about that. Because when I tell you liking to go to the gym as well, you relate to me and we connect instantly. So this is really one of the exercises that we do for likability in our course, to be more liked. Whereas if you hate to go to the gym, if I tell you that I go to the gym 5 times a week, you say you're wasting your time. You don't need that. It's all about what you eat. It's not about going to the gym. It's just wasted time. And why I'm saying this as an example is because no matter what you're doing in your career, the most important thing is how others understand what you're doing. So if you're doing something good and they see it as a bad thing, as criminals say that all the time, I'm innocent, I didn't do something wrong. Have you seen The Adolescent? The guy says, I didn't do something wrong. So in his mind, he thinks that what he did was not wrong. And we have a lot of things like this in real life, where our actions are not in line with what we think of them. So who do you think you are? Your actions and how people understand what your actions said, they can be 3 different things. So it's important to know that, because when you are aware of that, you are in control of how you behave. So it's a lot of biases. If you do something that it's done in one culture but not another, you need to consider your audience as well, because you need to understand how they would see your actions. And the thing is that people judge you based on their experiences in life. So if they don't have a lot of experience in life and they're really narrow-minded, you being very outgoing and different can be seen as a bad thing rather than a good thing. So knowing who you are, knowing how your actions are seen by others is important, because you need to connect them. That's what we do in our course. In our course, Spin Your Reputation for Success, we look at how to understand exactly how our actions are understood by others, because your reputation is really what others think of you. It's not what you think of you. It's not necessarily how you react, how you behave. It is, but it's more about how they get it, because you can say cheese and they can understand the milk, which is similar, but it's not the same thing. So who do you think you are and what do you think others think of you are 2 different things. So you need to make sure that you understand yourself, understand others, and your actions in the eyes of others. Which is why in our course we do reputation management. We have an exercise where we look at understanding what others think of me. because based on that I can adjust, I can change, I may have to correct something, I need to act on it. So it's really important to know, because you may think that you are the best manager just to realize that one of your teammates says that you are a micromanager. So, make sure that you always monitor and control and adjust all the time what they think of you. And then there's a third step where we look at who you want to be known as. So this is really like, if you're an accountant, I want to be the best accountant in my city or in my industry or on my specialty. I want to be known as the best accountant that saves people money, at least 30% in taxes. Or I can be the best manager in my field. How do I get to be there, to be the best, So here in our course, we identify exactly what makes you unique, so that you know exactly what is your niche, what is your audience, where you can perform very, very well. And then you build experience on that so that you can become the best at it. So you want to know who you want to become. The first thing that you want to understand are your strengths. So because here is really what makes you different than everyone else. You don't want to break even and you want to be good at everything. No, you need to find what you're doing the best, something that is very valuable in your field, that you can deliver excellent results, and then that's what you boost. So it's really the same as marketing. It is, you have a lot of actions and you see the one that really stands out and you put money into an ad on that very thing. So that's similar as in your industry and in your job. You find what makes you the best and visible to everyone, and then you make that shine even more. So you put all your efforts to improve something that you're already the best at. You don't break even. Oh, you're not so good at this. Well, but if I'm excellent at this, I want to improve what I'm excellent at. Not because I'm not that good, I want to kind of grow here. No, I want to grow here. Here's where I want to grow. So this is important. And we do that in our course. We look at what is it that makes us very good and how can we be even better than that. And that's when you know who you want to become in your industry. And it's industry, it's not your job, it's not your company, because you never know what can happen with your manager, with your company, really, with anything. So when you build your reputation, you build your reputation at career level, at industry level. Because if you have to change jobs tomorrow, you want to have connections elsewhere as well that will help you to get back on track as soon as possible. But yeah, so you need to, the third thing, it will be for you to understand who you want to become, and then you have to work on becoming that person. So here, when you have to work to become, it's more about skill sets. So you need to improve your skills to, even if you're very good at something, that's where you want to be an expert. You need to know everything there is on that. So if it's a phone, you need to know how to find anything there is in the phone. You can dismember the phone, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you need to know everything. You need to be able to answer any questions in that field, and you need to be seen by others as being the best at it. So connect with people like you, share your knowledge, help others, be seen as being very good at it, and build your facts. That's important. So you have to have a portfolio of things where you show people how you're very good at what you do. And that's really how you become the person you want to be known as. So as you can see, knowing who you are, which is the package of who you are, my values, how my appearance, the way I act, everything that I do, my knowledge, my education, my experience, everything is me. It's who you are, who others think I am, who I want to become, and then you have to put everything together and try to see how you can connect the dots. And that's really how you really understand who do you think you are, if that's in line with who you really are. And the thing is, you can be whoever you want to be. When you ask yourself, who do I want to become? Make sure that you dream big. Think of the best in your field, like even a mom. When you're just starting out in the motherhood, you want to say, I want to be the best mom I can be, right? So this is very similar to what you can do in your career. I want to be the best manager ever. and you have to work on getting there. So you need to know exactly what makes me a manager, what others think a good manager should do, what do I need to do to improve being a good manager, because that's my expertise, facts, portfolio, and everything. And then that's how I become, and then you control and manage so that you can become and remain a very good manager. So here is really about understanding who you want to be known as, because it's really crucial in terms of defining yourself as an individual in your career, in your chosen field. If you are unsure of what's your direction in life, here is where you want to take your time and see, okay, so who do I want to become? What is the legacy I want to leave behind? What do I want people to feel when they are around me at work? Do they want to say that they're bored to be around you, or are they excited and they want to share with you whatever that's happening with them? So who do you want to become, right? On Tuesday, we have a live micro task session where we discuss exactly how to stand out, how to find what makes you unique so that you build on it. So if you're free tomorrow, chances are that you can join us. And that depends on when you see the podcast, of course. So who do you want to become? If today's episode gave you a feeling of, wait, I actually don't know how I would explain my value, that's your starting point. Start by tracking the clues of your own career. Look at the results that you've created. What do you get praised for? What do you enjoy doing when no one else is watching? Your reputation isn't built in a vacuum. It's built on facts, results, experiences that prove your authority. And if you want help in figuring that out, come to my free live microtask session happening tomorrow. We'll talk about how to spot your most valuable skills, how to use them every day, and how to position yourself as a go-to person in your field. In the next week's podcast episode, we're going to talk about something that makes or breaks your career: first impressions. Whether it's your first week in your new job or 100th time when you go to that event, how do you show up defines how people see you. See you next Monday, and hopefully see you tomorrow too.